Hi everybody from TechnoLost, so welcome to the video review of the Ascend P6 from Huawei. Well, first of all, I want to thank my dear friend Ricardo for lending me his very nice Ascend P6 that we have here for our review. Well, let's start with a quick recap of the hardware of this device. Starting from the sides, we have a very compact device. It's 132.7 inches tall, millimeters tall, for 65.5 millimeters wide, and it's just 6.2 millimeters thick. This is a record for what concerns, thickness. This is one of the most thinnest device actually on any market. I mean, Android, iOS, doesn't matter, is one of the thinnest in absolute. Very, very nice, and it's even very, light. It's 120 grams, so it's a lightweight, very comfortable to hold in your hand. It's extremely light, very, very nice design and premium materials used for this Ascend P6. We have, aluminum here on the, here the rim of the device is aluminum too, but for this lower part here, which is nothing but plastic, this small stripe here, it's where the antennas is where the antennas are, of course. So the design, the materials, the weight and the size, it's very, very good for this Ascend P6. Inside we have Ascend own CPU is the K3 VT. Is a quad-core CPU with a Cortex A9 architecture. It's clocking 1.5 GHz, and this kind of CPU was made by Huawei itself. It has a production service of 40 nanometers. The GPU is the Vivante GC4000. It's a 16-core GPU. We have 2 GB of LPDDR2 memory and 8 GB of internal storage, which you may get around slightly less than 5 GB of free storage when you start the device for the first time. To be more precise, we have 4.89 GB of internal free user storage, and we can expand the internal storage via the micro SD card slot, which is a very big plus to me. Then we have this beautiful display. Let me tell you, this is really a beautiful display. It's an IPS Plus display. It's just IPS, not IPS Plus. It's 4.7 inches wide. It's 720p resolution, and we have 312 pixel per inch density. This is a very, very good display using an in-cell technology, which may reduce the space between the glass and of course the display itself. It's very bright and it's quite usable under direct sunlight, so no problem. Even we have very good viewing angle, both landscape and portrait, so it's a very, very nice display indeed. We have even the Dolby Digital Plus enhancement for what concerns the audio output. We have the main camera, which is 8 megapixel backside illuminated sensor. We have the lens with an aperture size on f2.0, very, very good aperture size for this lens, bright and fast. And we have the battery. It's 2000 mAh, so not that much for the battery, but of course, given the fact that this device is crazy thin, maybe Huawei could not do anything better than 2000 mAh. So okay, we have then the operating system, which is Android version 4.2.2, and the interface, very, very nice, is Emotion UI 1.6. So let's start talking about this Emotion UI. Maybe you already understand that this UI is very nice. As you may see, we have beautiful transition effect, extremely smooth, is a pleasure to use, and guess what, it does remind me of the MIUI interface. Exactly, it has the same launcher, which means that we don't have properly an app drawer, but we have all the app here into the home. So you have to create, like I did, you have to create folders where you put all your application, because you don't have an app drawer. That's it. Nevertheless, this interface, at least according to me, is very nice, beautiful, smooth, and has so many customization that is crazy. Starting with the power toggle here, we can of course set up the toggle. We can decide what to put into the notification bar and what not. We can of course have a bunch of transition effects which are very nice. Just let me show you. We have this one. We have, for instance, this one. And as you may see, all the transition effects are extremely smooth. It's a pleasure to use this interface. Very, very nice. We even have all the kind of themings that we could find into the MIUI, like this. You can download more themes, and each themes, as you may see, change not only the lock screen style, but even the icon. It can change, the widget. It can change the font, and it's extremely customizable. You can even customize your own theme, having a mix of all the theme you have installed, selecting the different lock screen, as you may see, or sorry, I choose the wrong one, or the wallpaper, application icon style, font style, alarms, tones, and whatever. Very, very customizable. It's such a pleasure to use this device with this interface. Very, very good interface. Then we have even nice widget made directly from Huawei, like this one that you may find here, which is extremely customizable too. As you can see, we have touch to customize, and we can decide what to put inside this, let's call it a group widget. We can enter another kind of weather or music control, like this, like the one that we already have, or we can put whatever we wanted. This is really extremely customizable. Very, very nice. We have other very nice widget, for instance, always made by Huawei, like this clock, for instance. Quite nice. Okay, so as you may see, this Huawei P6 has very, very nice interface. Moreover, aside from the customization and the aesthetical customization, we even have so many customization for what concern the control of the device itself. We have, for instance, motion control, which means that we don't have that many choices, but at least we have the possibility here to flip to mute the device, or pick up to reduce ring volume, or even we go raise to ear to answer or make call. So we even have motion control. But we have other stuff, like for instance power management here, when we can decide to have different power. They call it power plan, which means that we have normal usage, where the CPU are always at the maximum performance, or smart, or endurance. It depends on whether you want more power or more stamina for the battery. We even have the possibility to choose which apps can run in background or not. The apps that are considered to be power intensive app are really noticed to you. You have in the startup manager, where you can decide which app will automatically start when the device starts itself. We have other settings, like for instance the permission manager, which is really interesting. Here you can decide which application can connect to the net and which one cannot, both 2G or 3G or VLAN. We have even we can choose which application, for instance, can connect to the location service, or contacts, message, call log, phone numbers, calendar. This is really interesting. We have so many settings here for what concerns this emotion UI. We even have the possibility, to use glove with this glove mode. So as you may see, we have so many settings into this Ascend P6, and most of them are really useful. Let me tell you, this is a big plus, really big plus. The last things that I want to show you is the manager, multitasking manager, where you can, for instance, close all the application altogether. You have directly the view of the free internal memory, as you may see, and the used one, and you can clean with just one tap all the application running in background. Then we even have another interesting things, which are the profiles here. The profiles with this very nice UI let you choose, for instance, what to even you want to have ringtones or brightness level, if you want to receive call or message and all the kind of stuff. This is really customizable, very nice too. So these are all the customization made possible by this emotion UI. The last things that I want to talk to you about this UI is the default keyboard. This is maybe the weakest point of this UI. I didn't really like this keyboard. This, of course, it's not that one. Just let me change the keyboard here. Here we go, Huawei input method. This is the default keyboard. The the biggest problem with this keyboard is that it's not that fast. You even have, of course, swiping, although I didn't activate it, but the biggest problem to me is that it's not that fast while you're typing, and the other problem is the comma and full stop here. If you change, let me show you, if you want to have, for instance, another button, sorry, I mean is not properly the only problem is that it's not that fast, and sometimes you have too many buttons here that you cannot change, and having such a small space bar is not that nice when you tapping. But this may be just me. I mean, the main problem is the fact that it's not fast while typing. And this is everything dealing with the interface. If we talk about performances, I do remind you that you can give a look to my dedicated focus. This device is not that bad at all. Maybe its main competitor is the Nexus 4, and considering the Nexus 4, this device can keep up for what concerns general performances. Maybe it's even slightly better for what concerns general usage. If we give a look to the quadrant benchmark, we can see that this device is slightly faster than the Nexus 4. But if we take in consideration just pure 3D performances in games, for instance, this device is slightly, is not as fast as the Nexus 4. This is why the Vivante GC 4000 GPU is not as fast as the Adreno 320. So although, as you may see into the dedicated focus on the gaming capability of this device, is not bad at all. Even in playing games like Euro Racing 3, I won't suggest this device to someone who used to play a lot, especially for recent 3D games. Well, another interesting stuff of this device is, of course, the browser. The browser, fortunately, is based on stock browser, so it's not Chrome based, which is really a good plus to me. And it's very good because, as you can see, we have a full screen and even quick navigation bar. Very nice. Just let me show you. The browser is as fast as the UI, which means that usually it's quite fast. Sometimes, as the UI itself, we have some small stuttering. I mean, it's nothing dramatic, but you may notice it. let me show you. Let's load this. We need to use Wi-Fi here, so we can close both profiles and other stuff here. Let's get back, and now that we are using Wi-Fi, we can get into the full desktop site. For what concerns this Italian newspaper, I use this site a lot because it's quite heavy and it's very good to show browser performances. Here we go, the browser is loading. So as you may see, the browser itself is very fast, no problem. Oh, sorry, I accidentally started Google Now. And we have very interesting things, which is text reflow. Just give a look here. Exactly, just a few seconds to have text reflow. Here we go. This is very, very nice. So generally the browser is fast, as you may see, no problem in scrolling. Here we have even no problem in panning, although it's not perfectly smooth. And we have some more lag while pinching zoom and in, but I'm talking about crazy fast zoom in and zoom out, something that you may probably would never do while using this device like this. I guess you are not schizophrenic going around like this, but it's just a way to see how responsive is this browser. So it's okay, it's fast, no problem. It has great feature, which is automatic text reflow, very, very nice. But sometimes we have some small starting here and there. We can even, of course, given the fact this browser is a stock browser, we can activate the Flash player, and as you can see, we don't have any kind of problem even with the Flash player activated. Look at this. Of course, we have some lag sometimes in zooming in and zooming out, especially if we go crazy fast like this, but this is something that you may never do while using this device. So we even talked about the browser of this Huawei. Now, if we think about the multimedia side, I do remind you that you can give a look to my dedicated focus for what concerns the camera UI and camera performances. Generally speaking, this device has good performances for what concerns the camera, especially for what concerns pictures. We have very, very good picture taken with bright sunlight, or in scene where you have a nice light exposition like this. It's very good for what concerns macro, because we can take macro up to 4 centimeters. Generally speaking, the device is quite good in taking picture, and it's even quite good in taking picture with low light like this. As you can see, although we have some noise, and this is quite normal because we're speaking about a main camera which is 8 megapixel, we have so much light taken thanks to the f2.0 lens, so very good. For what concern for what concern video capturing, is not bad, although we have some stuttering here and there, and this is very strange because we have more stutters into the 720p than into the 1080p. We even have HDR mode, which is quite good for what concern picture, but it's not that nice for what concern video, because we have a big loss of details using the HDR video mode. We don't have problem in reproducing any kind of video format, even using third-party player for the small part of the video we cannot reproduce, like 1080p MKV file, for instance. We have good output for what concern music, and the device has even a very good speaker, quite loud, extremely loud, and it's a nice surprise given the fact that we have a very thin device. Usually thin devices don't have very good output speaker. So we talk about more or less everything dealing this device. Now we can draw a line and speak about the pro and the cons. Let's start with the cons. The default keyboard to me is not that nice, because it's too slow in typing. But of course you can always change the keyboard and use the stock one already installed by default into this device. We have of course the fact that given the device is very thin, of course we have production service for the CPU, which is 40 nanometers. Then while using this device, especially for what concerns games, you may notice that this area of the device gets a little bit hot. I mean, this is quite normal. The device is extremely thin. We are using premium materials like aluminum and glass, which does transfer more heat than plastic, of course, or polycarbonate. And of course the device is thin, that's why we can feel more heat than other device. We have few problems for what concern video. I mean, they're not bad, of course, but sometimes there's some stuttering in recording video, especially for 720, and the HDR mode for what concern video is not that good at all. We even have I found two bugs into this version of the operating system, which is 111. The first one deals with the headphones output here. It's not that high into this version of the of the Emotion UI, but it's just a bug, because I've read in many forums that the next betas, I mean 116 for instance, don't have this kind of problem for what concern headphone output. I mean, it's not low. You can of course listen to music using this device, but you may have to pump up the volume a little bit more than usual to have the same amount of output, music output, sorry. The other bug with this version is dealing with the USB host mode here. If you use the internal SD card slot with an SD card and you try to attach here a pen drive using USB mode, the device will reboot itself. It's just a problem, I guess, with the mount point, but it's just a problem of this specific version, which is 111. So I just want to talk to you about this bug, but they can be solved using different version of the Emotion UI. The other slightly downside, if it can be considered a downside, is the fact that we have just 2000 mAh battery. I mean, it's enough, but maybe you have to be a little bit more careful than usual to reach the end of the day. Of course, given the fact that we have such a thin device and a lightweight device, probably Huawei couldn't do much better. But as I told you, 2000 mAh will take you to the end of the day, maybe with 10% left of battery, depending on your usage, of course. This is another reason why, if you are a heavy gamer, I don't suggest you taking this device. Otherwise, it won't last more than maybe 3 or 4 hours, depending, of course, of your gaming habit. The other stuff is that the device is generally, extremely smooth. It's a pleasure to use, but sometimes we have some mouse stuttering, even here into the UI, but as you saw, even into the browser. Now let's speak about the Pro. This device is crazy thin. Very nice design. It's light, extremely light. Very nice design and premium materials, aluminum and glass. It's a pleasure to see and to use. Then we have this beautiful display. Let me tell you, this is really a beautiful display. It's an IPS display, good viewing angles, good capability under direct sunlight, no problem at all, and even it's quite good for what concerns color reproduction, and it is very bright. We have, of course, even the possibility, as I showed you, to use the device using your gloves. We have here the gloves mode, very interesting, especially when winters come. We have, the interface itself, the Emotion UI, which is very nice, great transition, great customization and control of the whole system. very nice. Then we have the camera, quite good, f2.0 sensor, which makes great pictures, especially micro pictures, sorry, and picture taken with good light. And of course, we even have, last but not least, the fact that this device comes with the GPU cover inside the package itself, which is something that I hope others OEM will follow, because it's a good plus after all. So if we take in final consideration about this device, this is something I didn't expect for Huawei. Nice device, very good design, very good feeling. After all, is a good device both for what concerns speed and for what concerns battery, considering the fact that it's extremely thin, and given the price tag, is a very good device made for Huawei. For what concerns this final review of the Huawei Ascend P6 that's all, sorry. Once more, thanks for watching and bye from TechnoLost.